The Sfas Emmes is something which is very precious to me. My Rebbe was a Gera Chassid, the Talmud Rebbe. He was by the Beis Yisrael, and my Rebbe before that, Simai Zilberberg, was also by the Beis Yisrael and also by Leif Simcha. And the Talmud Rebbe and Simai Zilberberg are big experts in the Sfas Emmes, and I had this list to hear from them many times. I even looked into Rav Simai Zilberberg's Sefer of the Sfas Emmes, and not this version, this print, but the more like standard print, and it's beautifully marked up from beginning to end.
You saw his notes
and everything, and it's so deep and there's so much to it. They know it even Baal Peh, and they not only know the Sfas Emmes Baal Peh, like they know where the main Torahs everything is, but they also know all the Mechtavim, and the Sfas Emmes is like the Yesod for the Gera Chassidim. Even though there is, before his Zayda, we're going to quote him in a minute, he has a Zayda, his Adon Zaken, he talks about the Chiddush Yerim, who brought him up, so that the Chiddush Yerim brought him up as a child because his father passed away quite young. His name was Avram Mordechai, passed away a bit young. So the Sfas Emmes was the grandson of the Chiddush Yerim, who was the founder of Ger Chassidus. He was a Talmud, the Chiddush Yerim of the Kotzker Rebbe. It's good to just get the background information before we start any sefer, who the author is and where's his Masorah.
It's basically organized. It's like it's on the Parshat.
On the Parshat.
I know he's a commentary.
So he gave over. He has Ala Torah
these are
and
drushes he gave over that he
Ala
wrote.
Shas. He has two main sets that everyone knows about. As I said, there's letters, but these are the two main that most people learn. Is Ala Torah, which is what we're learning now, Ala Parsha, and Ala Shas. And he was a big, huge person in Kedusha and Tahara. So when you're learning Torah from the Sfas Emmes, you're not just learning a nice vault in the Parsha, you're learning from someone who was holding a humongous level of Kedusha and Tahara. So his purity of mind, his clarity of mind is felt in the text. It means that when you're learning it, it's incredibly concise, which became a derech of the Ger Chassidim, because remember, the Chiddush Yerim was a Talmud of the Kotzk, and the whole Dagesh, the emphasis in Kotzk, was on Emmes, in truth, being an Ish Emmes, no matter what. So that you have to say words of Emmes, as his name is, the Sfas Emmes. Right. His son was the Imre Emmes, Right. And then you have, there's the concept of Emmes. So when you're learning Sfas Emmes, it's incredibly concise Torah. The amount of wisdom within one line, another sefer, you could write pages on it. And therefore you have to understand he's holding all of Torah, and this is when he was his beginning of Rebbe, Tafresh Lamed, the first Parshat Shemos, and he always puts the date of the year, and it goes through his life, all the different Tafresh Mem, all the way through Tafresh Gimel.
So they say and
they remember it through the year. Remember that he gave.
He wrote it, or one of his Talmidim wrote it down.
Usually,
and he edited it.
Usually Chassidus someone else wrote it. Yeah. And then they check it. Or if they weren't able to check it, then you have to just be somach because they did a good job. Right. Sometimes they write, in some of the Chassidus Sfarim, they write kasaf yad, meaning this is the actual handwritten, what he actually wrote. Right. But so they'll say that if it's, but I think I have to double check with Sfas Emmes if it was his actual writings or if it was his Talmudim taking it down. Either way, it would be authoritative. It's not because it's the Geras are not going to learn anything other than Emmes. So that's just how they are. Shemos. So this is this week's parsha.
So he begins. Shemos v'chulei habaim mitzrayma et Yaakov v'chulei.
Yeah. So by the way, the other nusach has the actual nekudot, which makes it much easier. So
that would be great. Yeah.
So we'll bring that next time.
Okay. So he says. So this is he's just quoting the first pasuk of the parsha. Ksiv says in Kohelet.
Yeah. So now he's quoting somewhere else.
Tov Shem. Tov.
Good name.
Mishemen. Tov. Midrash.
Then he jumped to someone else. That's why you need the nekudot. Yeah. Right. But it basically Tov Shem and Tov. Yeah. So the idea that you have a good name and it's connected from Shem and Tov.
Meaning like good oil?
Good oil, exactly. Midrash Keheles. This is going to explain the Keheles. The Midrash is going to explain.
He says Tov Shem, like the goodness of a name. Chanenya Mishael
Michel.
Michel.
They were the two who he's jumping now. He's jumping to the story. The story by the fact they threw themselves into the fire in the times of Nebuchadnezzar. Yeah.
Okay.
There were the two Nevi'im who went into the fire and came out alive. Yeah.
Okay, so he says
that he brought that as a midrash.
So he says Minadav ve'aveu shenish rafu ve'hayu nimshachin b'shemen hamishcha. But they were killed, no?
Yeah, they were burned up.
They were burned up
and anointed with the Shem and Hamishcha.
What's the Shem and Hamishcha?
It's the anointing oil.
It's the oil for the Beit HaMikdash.
Yeah, and for the Kohen Gadol.
Okay, kedoma shamati chen.
This is going to come up again and again when you learn the Sfas Emmes. Ma'admo azaken, yeah? He's saying it over from his Zayde, who was the Admor. Mareinu, Rabbeinu, Zeich, Sadek, Lebracha, Kodesh, Atar, whatever those Rosh Tevos are. There is in the other one, Sefer, they have an actual explanation of all the Rosh Tevos.
Okay.
So he uses a lot of Rosh Tevos.
Okay, so he says, Perush Shemen Tov, Mi Shenatan Lo Gedola, Minha
Shamayim. From Shamayim, from heaven.
Mina Shamayim.
Yeah.
Kenyan Akohanim Shahayu Meyuchadin.
So we know from the Shemen, the good Shemen that he gave, from Gedula of Mina Shamayim, it came from greatness, from heaven, the Shemen. This is the inyan of the Kohanim, that they are miyuchadim, they are set aside, special for this avoda, to do avodas Hashem, and that's how we anoint these Kohanim to do this holy avoda.
Right. Avatov mi shemarviach la'atzmo.
He profits to himself. Which is what we're going to do together. We're going to profit together by working hard and understanding these svarim.
Right. So he says,
by making the efforts.
So he says, but it's good. Mi shemarviach
the
la'atzmo.
profits
one
to himself.
Who marviach la'atzmo would mean to profit to himself.
Yeah.
Al yadei yagiato. Via his reaching to it,
his efforts.
Then Yikra Shem Tov, and this is what's called a good name.
You get a good name also by putting hard work in,
right?
Which is what we're going to do. It's a good outcome for everything. Right? It's going to take hard work. Learning svarim like this. These are from Gedolim, Gaonim, Tzadikim, Taharim, Kedoshim, huge name Mayachs. People who knew Kol Torah Kula.
Right.
If we start learning some Rav Tzadok, a Kohen, which I think we should at some point, you're going to see he's like everywhere. Right. Not just in Shas, Midrashim, Sifri, Sifra, Zohar, every single Sefer, he's a Baki in Kol Torah Kula. And he's bringing it over, and his Talmudim are giving it over. And you're like, wow, I just jumped from this to this to this to this. So Emmes is a little bit less, everywhere. He's a bit more focused in on a certain point he's trying to say. So hopefully we'll get it by working hard.
ובבחינה זו מה שיותר מרוחק ויש עבודה יותר חשוב יותר שזה עניין השם מה שיוצא יותר למרחוק נקרא שם טוב ביותר. So he says in ובבחינה זו and this understanding
is like this aspect
שיותר מרוחק Yesh avoda yoter chashuv, like it's further, but there's also a work that's more important. Yoter shazen yan Hashem. This is the matter of God. Masha yotze yoter lemirchok. Lemirchok. What comes out more from like a distance or something?
Yeah, someone who's distant and has to work harder. He's not getting it easy. He didn't walk into the shul like a goner, and he grew up a goner, surrounded by goner in the best yeshiva in the world. Someone like myself, who grew up with goner, and we have to make such an effort. I couldn't even read Aleph Beis not so long ago, 20-something years ago. So that gives you the Shem Tov.
So this gives you more of a Shem Tov.
Yeah, because you have to make a lot of effort. So he's teaching you that Torah is not about, having a good name just because it was easy, because you inherited it. Shem Tov is someone who earned it. Like a famous, this is where you have to go to the Masorah of Ger. When people came up to the Beit Yisrael, it's a famous story. He was a great grandson of the, was it a great grandson or maybe a grandson? I think he was a grandson. Direct Ben Achaben, he was a grandson of the Sfas Emmes. So he was the from now he was like 4 Rebbes back, I think. In Ger. So anyway, so when Beit Yisrael, when about Tshuva once came to him, he said, who are you? He said, my name's whatever, and I'm learning in about Shiva. I'm about Shiva. He said, very good. He said, I'm also trying to be about Shiva. Yeah. He's like, he thought it was like a sorrow and a lack.
Right.
Yeah. He's saying, no, this is it. Like you're coming from far and you're working so hard, and to the point. I know this. I saw this in my own eyes. There's a Mayanot Yeshiva, Chabad Yeshiva in Yerushalayim, which has a giant picture of the Beis Yisrael on the wall, even though it's a Chabad Yeshiva. Why? Because that was his house, and he gave it to Mayanot as a gift, because he understood the importance of helping Baalei Teshuva.
Wow. And
that's the grandson of the Sfas Emmes. So you understand that this concept of someone who's further away can, by all the effort he has to make to get close to he gets a bigger name, a better good name, or more of a good name.
וזה עניין שבטי ka שירדו למצרים בבחינת שמות. Right, so this is the matter, the subject of these tribes of God that went down to Mitzrayim in this aspect of names. כי האבות היו חוץ מן הטבע, that the avot were outside of the natural realm, שנדבקים בו יתברך, but they were like davuk, but they were close with Hashem.
Very good.
ונעשו עליו יתברך מרחבה תמיד. And Hashem made for them this Merkava is like how would you describe a Merkava? A chariot.
But this is a very important cloud. This is where learning Tanya now would help, because Tanya gives a whole explanation of the Avos, how they were Merkava for Midos of Hashem. They became batul legamre to a certain midah. So, for example, Avram was the epitome of Chesed.
Right.
Yitzhak was the epitome of Gevurah, and Yaakov was the epitome of Tiferes. Yeah. So the point is that the Merkava, they became a chariot where they no longer had any yeshus themselves, and they became completely batul to the Ratzon Hashem and that midah.
Okay.
And that he says Yisbrach Merkava tamid, always. They never stopped being like that.
Right.
So when you were talking to Avram, you're talking to the midas of Chesed, which is the midas of Hakus.
Right.
Very deep concept.
He
doesn't explain it,
right,
he just quotes it.
והשבטים הם שמתפשטין הארות הקדושה גם בתוך הטבע, ועל שם זה נקראו שבטים מלשון
Hispashtus.
התפשטות.
Yeah, which is sort of that's a deep concept. I've never seen this before personally. Maybe
these tribes.
I haven't learned everything, so this is a chiddush. I'm just saying now.
השבטים הם
שמתפשטין האורס הקדושה,
meaning they are
spreading out
the light of holiness. גם בתוך הטבע, like within this world. על שם זה נקראו שבטים.
So Shloshin has in it,
meaning like they're doing it in this world, and therefore in their name of shvatim, like in the word that we use to refer to them, shvatim, melashon hitpashtut, like there's within this language of spreading out of this light.
And that's connected to the Shem and the onion of Shemos. They came down with names, Shem and Tov, Shem. It's all about a good name. Bringing it through the light of their names.
Right. ולקח ירדו למצרים לעורר הארת הקדושה. So therefore they came down to Mitzrayim לעורר הארת הקדושה, to awaken their light of holiness. גם בתוך היצר.
Meitzah is a restriction.
The restricted place.
That's Mitzrayim.
Hester, and Hester is like hidden.
Yeah,
right?
The hiding, the place of restriction and hiddenness. That's a famous concept by Mitzrayim. Right. Mitzrayim is a Lashon Meitzarim. It's a place of restrictions and hiddenness. Right. So what Am Yisrael did, they brought this tremendous light to that place. That's our koyach, to turn the darkness into light, to turn the Goddess into Geula.
Yeah.
Which is really what Sefer Shemos is. Sefer Geula. It's actually called that by the Ramban. So we know that even though we start off in Goddess, but the goal is to bring us to Geula. Yeah. That's what the whole Sefer is building up towards.
ועם כל זה, העיד הכתוב, so included in all of this, העיד הכתוב, כי באו את יעקב, והיינו שהיו דבוקין בהפנימיות. So he says, ועם כל זה, העיד הכתוב, like within this, like the pasuk testifies the pasuk, when it says in the pasuk, "Ki ba'u et Yaakov v'hinu shayu devukim."
He was Panemius.
Right?
He was inner level.
He was connected to his inner level.
Yeah, inner soul. He wasn't busy with the Times Square of Mitzrayim, whatever it was, Las Vegas of Mitzrayim. He was Panemius.
So he references, or the publisher references, that he wrote this
in Bereshis. Very good.
Parshat Vayechi.
And how Yaakov was Panemius. Right. He was Yaakov, he's Lebedik.
Right.
He was alive. And how do you be alive in such a place where it's mostly Mitzarim, restrictions and death and negativity? How was he alive? Because he was Panemius.
Yeah. Sophie Tavis,
the end letters.
Sophie Tavos et Yaakov.
It'd be easier when we have the Kudas. I don't know why this one doesn't have it.
I should tell you, I'm dyslexic.
I don't see that.
So I have.
I'm not hearing it. I don't know. You seem great. You're reading great.
So I'm not such
and this is a hard without the Nakudas is very hard.
Okay.
Trust me. You can ask Isaac. I have plenty of learning difficulties. He helps me through it every time. So we're going to do this together. It's fine.
So he says, "Zeh Sophie Tevot et Yaakov." So he says, and this is at the end of the
end letters, of this pasuk. Es Yaakov Ish. So what's that?
Aleph Yod.
No, the end letters.
Taf Bet Shin is.
Which is what? Shabbat. Who's Shabbat? That's what it goes on to say. Who's Shabbat?
But it's tough.
It's out of order.
But tough you can switch to Bishin.
No, that's Aramaic, but this is from a pasuk in
Yaakov Ish, right? Who Shabbat?
Just it's the letters of.
He takes it, but he rearranges it.
Yeah,
okay. That's a little bit of a stretch, but okay, fine.
No, this is normal. It's standard. Standard.
Who Shabbat?
It doesn't matter the order, as long as it's the letters.
And he says this is also written in the Balaturim.
This is not initially even in Chassidus Shabbat. This is from the Balaturim.
Right.
Who's the Balaturim? Come on, he'll tell you who's the Balaturim. He's very good with all the Svarim. Who's the Balaturim? The Torah. And who was the Torah? He was the son of the Rosh. And his name was Rabbi Yaakov, is that right? Yaakov ben Asher. See, I know something. So Yaakov ben Asher was the Torah. Balaturim, and he wrote this parish, beautiful parish, which works with Sof Tavis, Roshi Tavis, Gematrias on the Chumash.
Right, okay.
And the Sfas is quoting that. So Yaakov has in it his essence, Shabbos. And what is Shabbos? Shabbos Panemius. Yeah.
This is his aspect or element of Shabbat.
Yaakov is Shabbos. So what is Shabbos? Shabbos is Panemius. Let's now, I'll tell you about Maharal. If you want to know Chassidus, you have to know about Maharal. All the Chassidus Svarim, real Chassidim, were Bokim of Maharal. Not that I am, but I have learned Maharal, and I've listened to Rabbonim. Like, tell you who gave me a little chizuk in Maharal. Moshe Shapiro. Okay. He's a big, important Rav to know about in the Kiruv world. And also his Talmidim, like people like Rabbi Kiva Tatz. And if you had Rabbi Kiva Tatz or Rabbi Losky or any of these guys, all the Talmidim of Rabbi Moshe Shapiro, very big people themselves nowadays. So he wrote Kiva Tatz, I think I heard it, or maybe I even heard it direct from Rabbi Moshe Shapiro. But the concept is Shabbos and it's based on the Maharal. There's 6 walls around you. Yeah, why? There's right, left, forward, back, up, down. That's the 6 dimensions of the week. That's the 6 days of the week. And Shabbos is the Panemius. Now you've built this place. You can walk in and you experience the place you built. Mm-hmm. So every day of the week is building another shlav of this house that we're building, this base midrash, this home that you have. And Yaakov is the concept of Shabbos because he's bringing you into now the point of everything you just did. Mm-hmm. Now, another concept I heard that Yaakov has 6 sons before him and 6 sons after him. What's that? 6 days of the week before, 6 days of the week after. Who's in the middle? Yaakov. When we say Yaakov Vanav Menucha Bo on Shabbos day, Yaakov and his sons Menucha Bo, it's a famous explanation because Yaakov brings together the 6 days before, the 6 days after, 6 sons before, 6 sons after. He is the one who brings it all together.
He's in the middle.
And he's in the middle, and that represents the concept of Panemius.
Okay.
That's the going inside the room, experiencing now what you've built. So Yaakov is a Panemius of the Shvatim, he's a Panemius of the week, he's a Panemius, and that is the Shmirah. When you're in a place like Mitzrayim, there is no restrictions by him. And you're going to see, look, he's going to say now. This is the famous Torah.
This is the matter of Shabbat. Nachala bli Mitzrayim. It's an apportionment or an inheritance without narrowness.
Any narrowness. And we say this in Shabbos as well. It's part of the Kiddush in in the Chassidus time. If you make Kiddush Chassidus, Nach Yanko bli Mitzrayim.
What's Chassidus?
Min Chassidic Sidurim, it should have Chassidus, the third meal.
Shalasudot.
How do you say
the
it?
third meal.
Third meal. There's a Kiddush, how did I say it?
Shiddush.
Yeah, sorry, I'm a little bit in the Chassidish nusach sometimes, so you have to help me. Are you Swani?
Yeah, technically, but it's okay.
Help me translate sometimes.
It's okay. No,
so the idea of the third meal is a Kiddush that you say, you don't say it before the Suda, you say it during the Suda.
During the Suda, you say it.
It's not everyone does it, but I've been by Siddiqim who do. And if you look in the Siddur, the Nusach, it has this Parshat Nachas Yaakov B'Yimei Tzayim, or it says Nachas Yaakov. Lios, and the concept is Nachas Yaakov B'Yimei Tzayim. It's the third meal, which is Yaakov's meal, which is the idea of any constraints, no gevulim. It takes you out of this Meitzah, this restriction, and from the fact that it's panemius, and it takes you into this infinite space.
The idea is to have this awakening of the holiness of Shabbat also within the reality, like within Emmes says, like within like this world.
Very good.
Sheyesh birur ktsat begilui.
It's an important word, that birur.
So he says there is a clarification, a little bit of clarification, begilui, bekol davar liyot aliyah l'shorasho. So he says there's a little bit of a clarification in the revealed area, in all matters, to be aliyah l'shorasho,
elevated to his
roots.
It's a very important Chassidish concept when we're trying to milan it sotzis, we're trying to elevate this world.
Right.
And the concept by Shabbos is sort of, it's a little bit of a bira. He says it bedafka a little bit. I mean, that's his lashon. You'd have to be ma'ayin into why he says bira kasat. Maybe because Shabbos really isn't meant to be any bira, because it's Shabbos, everything's b'shleimus. But the Shabbos itself causes a little bit of a bira, and everything to go back to its root. So everything, as it says in Rav Tzadok and Rav Nachman brings it down, that Kula Kodesh, everything becomes holy on a certain level. Everything you eat, everything you drink, any kind of tanuk comes holy.
וימי המעשה נקראים עבודה להביאה ובחינת השבת גם בימות החול. So he says that these days of המעשה, like these days of, or the days of Maaseh,
of action,
are like meaning the weekdays. Nikraim avoda.
We work.
We call them work, right?
To work. But what's that?
Shabbat, to bring us to this aspect of Shabbat, gam b'yamot hachol, like also within these.
We're trying to bring the kedusha Shabbos into the week. How? It says Sheis Yom Ta'avod. So that's also Ratzon Hashem, to work for 6 days. Like in Eretz Yisrael, we have a 6-day week. We don't have a Sunday, because Hashem wants us to work also on the Sunday.
Right. ובמצרים היה עבודה קשה יותר, כמו שכתוב.
So Mitzrayim was too much.
Parach, right? We say the language of the parach.
Yeah, parach. It's difficult.
Is in the
Avodas parach. It's not the kind of work you want to be doing. It's like these phones.
Right.
It's what they do, you know.
Right. אבל השבטים לא ירדו למצרים רק בבחינת שמותיו. This is, but these tribes, they didn't go down to Mitzrayim only from, or Mitzrayim. Is there a comma after Mitzrayim?
Probably.
Right, he says they only did it in like from the aspect of their names.
So you see that Shemosam, the idea the names gave them the ability to shoresh themselves in kedusha.
The names gave them the ability to shoresh themselves in kedusha. Ava pnimiyut hayu. Yaakov.
So wait a minute. Let's correct that. I was thinking about something I needed to take care of, and I thought came into my head that minute that took me away from this Parshat. It was Shemosam means the Shemosam is still an external reference to them. The only way they're going to get panemius is through the aspect of Yaakov. It's not enough, the Shemos. Shemos is good. Yeah, Am Yisrael keeping their names was a big praise for them, that they kept their names in Mitzrayim. They didn't lose themselves. And the Shvatim and all the descendants all the way down till we left Mitzrayim, we were still the names of Bnei Israel. But it's not enough to survive Mitzrayim b'shleimus. There's also the panemius.
Okay.
Because your name is important. It shows who you are. But the panemius is connection to the Tzaddik, connection to Yaakov, connection to the one who is an Odom Panemi.
Okay, yafeh. So he says, "Ava pnimiyut hayu medvukin b'chinat Yaakov," meaning that their depth, their internal, was because they were all connected to the aspect that was within them of Yaakov. Exactly. He's their father, anyways.
Yeah, but it's not just having him as a zayda, because remember he said before, someone who's further is more choshev when you've come from far and you've made all that effort. It's awakening the aspect of Yaakov within. What saved Yosef? It wasn't just that Yaakov was his father. It was that he was davik to the Yaakov, to the Pneumius of what Yaakov is. You can have a father who's a choshev person, but you need to connect to it on the Pneumius. That's the point, the inner aspect, the teachings, the truth of that person.
Okay. So he says, Kamo shekatuv nefesh achat.
They were called nefesh achat.
They were called one soul. One soul.
It didn't say, when it said shivim nefesh, it didn't say nefoshes, like by Esav, all these different souls.
Right.
Because he was the actus of his family. Yaakov, it was all one.
Right. But Rashi explained that over there in Vayigash. Vehu shenit va'er lehem shechayot b'pnimiyut shebekol davar hu mehashemit barak bilvad.
Yeah.
He says, and this is what was explained to them, shechayot b'pnimiyut, like
energy,
the
life force.
The life force, the internal life force, bekol davar, of all matters, hu mehashemit barak bilvad. It's only from Hashem.
Very good.
Only when it's seen from the outside,
to be the
or only from the outside, it appears to be the opposite.
Yeah, like the mitzvah, you look at them and you look at the whole watermelon situation over there, that the Yidden later on complain about. You think, wow, it's such a blessed place. They get this nourishment from the Nile and everything's so external, so superficial.
But the reality is on the inside they didn't have.
Yeah. That's just a cover up. Yeah. I would say a better word than hiding. Cover up.
This is the only the cover up. Ve'al yadei sheyodin ze bebiur memashkin ha'ara mamshichin ha'ara gam betoch ha'ester ad sheyitgale ha'pnimius. So he says that even al yadei sheyodin ze, like even via the fact that they knew this, bebiur mamshichin ha'ara, like via that they drew down this ha'ara, this understanding, gam betoch ha'ester, like also within this revealed place, ad sheyitgale.
Remember, it was work to do that.
They revealed
to clarify,
this inner place.
To reveal this inner light, they had to work hard because there was a whole world of Hester and Chitzonius around them, and they had to work hard to bring out the Pneumius that Hashem built to Hashem Levada. There's nothing else but Hashem. There's Pneumius.
Ubezohar Kodesh, and in the Holy Zohar, it says Hashem v'Shemo echad. It brings the pasuk from Zechariah.
Yeah.
And it says
We say this every Shachris, and also the end, both during Chris Yamsuf and at the end of Elena.
Right.
And Min
Shemo, and the aspect of their name, Nikra Razeh Da'achad.
This is a famous quote from Kigavna. You know that word? You see that word Razeh Da'achad? Do you ever say it on Shabbos?
It's like Razeh de Shabbos, Razeh de...
Yeah, Echad. We say that every Shabbos. The secret of Shabbos is the secret of oneness.
Razeh de Echad, the secret of oneness, shenistar ata ve'al yadei amunat Israel. That it's
Amunat Israel. That's the name of Rabbi Moshe Wilson's chabura. It's called Amunat Israel. Funny enough, that's the name of his group.
So he says shenistar ata, that it's like hidden now. Al yadei amunat Israel, like via
the rabbi earlier.
Via the belief of Israel. Shemis dabrin.
But nullified to the Pneumius.
That it's nit, but it's nullified to the Pneumiut nit barer. Achsus v'zeu v'chinat Shabbat.
That's the aspect of Shabbos.
This is the real aspect of Shabbos. V'lakach chasiv v'midrash kehelet sham. Therefore, it's written in the midrash kehelet sham. Shehavivin.
That's the climax of this Torah.
Shehavivin.
Say it with emotion. Shehavivin shmosav shvotim ein sham. And that's what Keheles meant over there in the Midrash, where it says that they were beloved, the names of the Shvatim. Chavivin. Mitzvah is chavivati. It's like beloved. And why was it so beloved? Because they had to do such a big avoda in Mitzrayim, of such a place of chitzonius and cover up, to bring out that inyan of Yaakov, of Shabbos, of Pneumius, and bring out the Ora and pashet that Or, and in Platoch such cover up. So you see how Chassidus Shazach, like explaining from a pasuk, Eile Shemois, Haboim, brings Keheles, he brings Midrash, he brings this whole...
Right, so he has this whole thing.
Yeah, it's so deep, and there's so much going on there. This concept is like foundational in Chassidus. There's so much. It's teaching of the Pneumius of Shabbos, Pneumius of the Tzaddik, Yaakov, Pneumius of Am Yisrael, that we have to work hard to bring out that light. This is like a very important yesod of what Chassidus is about. What the Baal Shem Tov came to all the original Messiah of the whole Chassidus, it's very important to trace it back. He was, why was he called the Baal Shem Tov? He was the master of the good name, which is what we're talking about here, the Shem Tov. So Baal Shem Tov brought out the whole, the Tzaddikim Nestorim of bringing out the Shem Tov. Because Shem Tov is actually a higher madrega than anything, according to the, I think Pirkei Avos brings it, because there's a Kesser Torah, Kesser Malchus, Kesser Hunah, and then there's Kesser Shem Tov.
Right.
There's a whole Torah about this in the Shem Shmuel and other Svarim, and Shem Shmuel is very connected, by the way, to the Sfas Emmes. They were both the Zaydas were by the Kotzko. The Avnei Nezer was also Talmud of the Kotzko Rebbe. So they're very close. Like the Kedusha Rim, Sfas Emmes, it's all very similar. So Shem Shmuel talks about this idea of Kesser Shem Tov. So the Baal Shem Tov had this idea of the good name, of bringing the Achdus of Hashem, the Yichud of Hashem, to the most simple Yidden. So they could understand, to bring out the Pneumius, even in the Goddess that we're in now. Baal Shem Tov's whole mission was to do what this just explained. The Shrotim and Yaakov were doing in Mitzrayim. The Baal Shem Tov came to reveal that energy again amongst all of Klal Yisrael, not just the Talmid Chachamim. That everyone needs to be able to connect and wake up and tune into that Pneumius of Shabbos, or having a beautiful show like this, Shabbos singing and dancing and joining together as a community and having oneg. That brings out the Pneumius of Shabbos, of Am Yisrael, in B'toch HaGolos. So we don't have to get called into the Meitzorim. Right now we're in the Shobavim, we're in Shemos, we're in this time of year, and we're able to attach ourselves to these lessons to help us get out of our own Meitzorim, our own restrictions. Right. That's a very important concept. When you learn something Chassidus, you have to now figure out what Sfas Emmes just said. It's only just one paragraph because it's like pages already.
Right.
How does this relate to me? Like, how am I getting myself out? Am I tuning into the Pneumius of Shabbos? Or am I using it just to sleep or whatever? Or have a relaxing time? So we have to awake and realize that is the avodah of Shabbos, to get more into the Pneumius, more into the inner realms of our being, attach ourselves to the Pneumius of Am Yisrael, which is Yaakov, which is Shabbos, which is Moshe, which is Torah. We have to awaken this Pneumius within ourselves. And also, a big goal is also to understand Shemos, to have a name, a Shmot. Your name is important, my name is important. And to awaken that Nakuda of the Shem Tov, the idea of connecting to the Shem Tov, whatever that means, Shemen Tov, the idea of rising above. Shemen is something that rises above the water. It's an aliyah, it's elevating everything. And that was part of what the Baal Shem Tov's whole thing was, the master of the good name. And that was really interesting that the Sfas Emmes brings that as a big Nakuda, the Shemos of Bnei Yisrael. There's a big Nakuda there. The names of Bnei Yisrael was a big part of their Gula process, but it needed to be connected with Yaakov Ish, Etz Yaakov Ish, which is Sof Tevis Shabbos. It needed to be connected to that aspect as well. Those two together. It couldn't be just the Shemos of Am Yisrael. It needed to be connected to because you always hear that Torah. What do? They kept their names, their clothes, their speech. That's not enough. It needed the connection to the Tzaddik, Moshe, with the Atzmas Yosef, with the fact they're from Yaakov. There needed to be that connection. That was the Shevet Levi that we're learning the whole time. That was the key to the external aspect of the names and the clothing and the speech, to have the Pneumius, to have the inner connection. I think it's a good start, no?
Yeah, very nice. So
that's the Sfas Emmes is a very good sefer for us to begin with if we're going to learn Chassidus. But I think